Sigodum, Mississauga, and Yao. I wrote a little prayer in my language, but I decided to give you the English version. Give us peace in our hearts so that we can work together well. Help us to walk our culture well. Help us to live well in a healthy way. Good morning, my Anishinaabe name is WeeStreem. My English name is Claire Salt, and I belong to the Eagle Clan. My Anishinaabe name is WeeStreem, and it means to see for others. The Ojibwe people were divided into a number of totems we call clans, named after animal totems. This served as our system of governance, in each clan having certain responsibilities. I belong to the Eagle Clan, which is the folks that are tasked to see the 360 view. I am the Ogamakwe, chief of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. I was asked to do a ceremonial blessing and some opening remarks, and I'm happy to join you today for the 65th anniversary of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. The Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation are the descendants of the River Credit Mississaugas and Ojibwe Nation. Our ancestors occupied, controlled, and exercised stewardship over approximately 3.9 million acres of lands, water, and resources in southern Ontario. We are the treaty holders of our territory, the only First Nation in our territory that has proper land surrender treaties with the Crown. You are currently located on the treaty called Between the Lakes of 1784 and confirmed in 1792. Many of our members still live in this area. We acknowledge the presence of other First Nations who have used the lands within our territory in the past and who continue to use the lands today. Our territory has been home and traditional territory to other First Nations since time immemorial. Since the rollout of TRC's, that's the Truth and Reconciliation Action Plan across Canada, I'm happy that we're creating relationships with our neighbors like you. There was a time we didn't even know our neighbors, and so I'm grateful that we are developing relationships with the various parties in our territory. I'm grateful for all the work that you do in the 41 conservation areas within the Niagara Peninsula watershed. I'm especially for the recreation, heritage, preservation, and conservation and education that we all get to enjoy. I thank the Creator daily for this beautiful nature we have been given to enjoy and to be good stewards of our lands. I'm grateful to be a part of this great milestone in your 65th celebration today. On behalf of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, I warmly welcome you to our treaty lands and territory and encourage all of you to continue to enjoy this sacred place that we still call home. Miigwech.
Thank you so much for those beautiful words, Chief Salt. Now I'd like to invite NPCA Chair Rob Foster for some opening remarks.
We'll do a reset on the height. There we go. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm first to you, Chief Salt. I appreciate you bringing your greetings, and I will now do our land acknowledgement. The Niagara Peninsula watershed is situated within the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Attawandaronk, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, the watershed is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Through the 2021 to 2031 strategic plan, we reconfirm our commitment to shared stewardship of natural resources and deep appreciation of Indigenous culture and history in the watershed. So good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank you for coming to celebrate with us two very important milestones today. For this event, and we're all special guests, everyone that's in the room here today, There's a couple of people I wish to acknowledge. First, Chief Claire Salt of the Mississaugas of the Credit. I'd like to acknowledge Chair Jim Bradley from the region of Niagara. I would also like to acknowledge Mayor Shelley-Ann Bentley from the County of Haldimand. Mayor Terry Ugolini, who we are pleased to be within his city now. Thank you very much. And I'm also going to mention MPP Wayne Gates, who is here this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Gates. And everybody else are special guests. 65 years the NPCA has been in existence. That's pretty amazing. Think of why conservation authorities came into existence in the first place. In 1946, in what I would call a progressive move, the province of Ontario passed the initial Conservation Authorities Act in response to concerns raised by agriculture, naturalist and sports groups, all who highlighted that much of the renewable natural resources of the province were in an unhealthy state as a result of poor land, water, and forestry practices. And then came the destructive force of Hurricane Hazel in 1954, which in my opinion sealed the deal for better conservation requirements. And conservation authorities rapidly came into existence across the province. Many things have changed in 65 years. Technology is dramatically different, and the issues we strive to deal with as conservation authorities certainly have become more complex as we see inevitable growth coming to the watershed. The core mandate of today's conservation authorities is to undertake watershed-based programs to protect people and property from flooding and other natural hazards, and to conserve natural resources for economic, social, and environmental benefits. The Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority provides a wide range of services that are important to the long-term sustainability and development of the Niagara watershed: planning, compliance and enforcement, mapping, watershed restorations. Our organization does many things to ensure that we meet our motto, nature for all. And we do this work well. This has not come about in isolation. We owe a huge debt of thanks to those who have preceded us, both as staff and as board members. And I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Shirton from Haldimand, one of our former board members, and also Mal Woodhouse, who's here this morning as well. I'm very fortunate to have married into the NPCA, so to speak. Sue's grandfather was the first superintendent on Long Beach. Her uncle Gord Harry, many of you might know, had a huge influence on this organization over the years. And both my wife and son have both worked and volunteers with the NPCA at one time or another. The board you have today, which brings together representatives from Niagara, Haldimand, and Hamilton, is pleased to be implementing the 10-year strategic plan that envisions a healthy, vibrant environment with shared green space and clean water that sustains life for future generations. When the opportunities have arisen, we have made the investments in property that our communities require. Over the past few years, land purchases in Pelham, Lincoln, Wainfleet, and Hamilton have been made for environmental and natural hazard protection, plus public enjoyment. And today marks another milestone for the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, the opening of this beautiful new space here in Thorold. Later today, we will be holding our annual general meeting where my tenure as board chair will come to an end. As we shift the leadership between our three funding organizations, as is required by recent changes to the Conservation Authorities Act, I look forward to working with our new chair and vice chair as we continue to make the positive, proactive changes needed for this organization. So for me personally, to the group here, I have a number of thank yous that are needed at this point. To the hardworking NPCA staff who day in and day out make this organization run so well, thank you. To the staff who made this head office transition so relatively smooth, and Steve, you still have all your hair? Thank you. To the staff who organized celebrating the 65th anniversary today, thank you. To the members of the Source Water Protection Team, and I know Bill Hodgson chairs that particular group out of Lincoln, thank you. To the Public Advisability Committee that helps provide information back to the board and staff on issues of importance, thank you. To my fellow councillors, be they mayors, be they elected councillors, at the region of Niagara, thank you for putting your trust in me as one of your representatives on the board for the past 2 terms. To Vice Chair Metcalf, thank you for all you have done and continue to do for this authority. And to my wife Sue, who puts up with me day in and day out, thank you. My final thank you is to Chandra Sharma, our Chief Administrative Officer. We all get to meet people who have had a huge influence in our lives, and for me, she is just such a person. Her passion about conservation, that was a Freudian slip. Her passion about conservation is second to none, and her focus on moving the this organization forward, even with the odd headwind that we seem to receive, has been inspiring to see. Thank you very much, Chandra. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Foster. Mayor Ugolini, please come to the podium.
Well, first I'm going to apologize. The sun usually shines in the city of Thorold, so I don't know what happened today. On behalf of Thorold City Council, I am honored to be here today to celebrate the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority's 65th anniversary and relocation to its new headquarters here at 3350 Merrittville Highway in the city of Thorold. Thank you to NPCA CAO Chandra Sharma and NPCA Board Chair Rob Foster for the invitation. Also with me from the city of Thorold today is our CAO Manoj Dalwaria, our regional councillor Tim Whalen, and former mayor and NPCA board member Mel Woodhouse, who's with us as well today. The NPCA made a great choice. The city of Thorold is the fastest growing municipality in Niagara, number 4 in Ontario and number 8 in Canada. It truly is the hub of Niagara, with easy highway access, which is so important. And as people know, and Vance isn't here to steal my line today, but we are the real GTA, the Greater Thorold area. When you think of the NPCA, you are looking at an amazing history. 65 years of conservation efforts and environmental stewardship in the Niagara Peninsula watershed. An impressive resume for sure. When I think of the NPCA, I reflect on the contributions of Thorold resident, the late Dominic Mickey DeFrucio, who served on the NPCA board as our representative for 25 years, the longest ever sitting board member, and was made an honorary board member after that. Mickey passed away in 2022 at the age of 95. He was a strong advocate for the protection and restoration of habitat for monarch butterflies and other pollinators. Long live the monarch butterfly was one of his major catchphrases. Another story that you might not be aware of but is very noteworthy regarding the role of Osage orange trees on the east side of Canada Games Park Walker Sports and Ability Center fronting Merrittville Highway. So when you see the building there, on this side you'll see a row of Osage orange trees. Mickey called me before the construction began on Canada Games Park project and stressed the importance of saving these important trees. We worked together. I provided him with the necessary contacts, which he jumped on. Because as you know, Mickey, when there was something to be done, he was on top of it. As a result, the Osage orange trees were saved and are visible along the property's boulevard facing Merrittville Highway. It is only fitting that the NPCA relocated here because those trees will be visible to anyone when they arrive and depart from the NPCA parking lot. A visual part of Dominic Mickey DeFrucio's legacy. along with 2 pollinator gardens that we have in the city of Thorold, one in the Battle of Beaver Dams Park and the other in the Mel Swart Lake Gibson Conservation Park. So once again, thank you for the invitation to be here today. The NPCA is in good hand under Chandra's leadership with a committed, dedicated staff and board of directors, outstanding volunteers, partners, and community members. The future truly is bright. Thank you so much.
I started to get a little choked up thinking about Mickey. He's just such a wonderful person. Thank you, Mary Ugalini. Chair Jim Bradley will come to the microphone now.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's particularly an honor to be here today amongst all of you who are so dedicated to the preservation of our natural heritage here in Niagara, and indeed some have worked beyond Niagara in this regard. Without a doubt, the conservation authorities across our province, including the one here that is referred to as Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority, but of course includes Haldimand and Hamilton, have all played a very significant role in preserving that which I think most people would want to see preserved over the years. 65 years is a long period of time for that. I guess when we're talking about years gone by, Europeans smile at us when we say 65 years. They usually put a zero on the end of that to talk about something that's 650 years. But for those of us in Canada, a relatively young country, 65 years is a long period of time. I can recall very much as one who's had the privilege of serving as Minister of the Environment of Ontario 2 different times for a total of 8 years. I knew from that experience just how important conservation authorities were across this province. It was never under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of the Environment, always under Ministry of Natural Resources. But I met many people, including those here in Niagara over the years, who are so dedicated to preserving that natural heritage with which we are blessed. I see we have some other regional councillors here. You get in trouble if they don't find them all, but Rob would have identified them anyway. I know he's spotted them for me.
I did the blanket.
Well, he did the blanket one as well, but I see Councillor Hewson is here as well from Pelham, which is therefore I think a round of applause. So he's American Anne of the West Lincoln. Others have already been announced by our previous speakers, I think, unless Rob, you've spotted somebody outside I'm not aware of. This is a great pleasure for me to be here on this occasion, here in the city of Thorold. So many things are happening in Thorold, as the mayor has indicated, and while there are great pressures for development in Thorold, because he has indicated that it is the fastest growing community, 4th in Ontario, 8th in Canada, and fastest here in Niagara. Nevertheless, that implies that there's going to be considerable pressure on the natural heritage. And I am very confident that the present board that we have, and of course the very dedicated staff, will continue to ensure that that preservation continues. It wasn't always the case, and conservation authorities over the years have had both friends and enemies. Councillor Seaborn is here as well. I didn't just saw her now. So don't be offended, I'm spotting people in the audience. I was counting on Foster to tell me that. So the blame is projected. But it hasn't always been that case in conservation authorities. There are people who have been almost enemies of conservation authorities because they do play a role that implies that from time to time they're going to be clashing with those who would like to see every last square centimeter of our land developed. And development is exceedingly important, but as all of you know who are here today, it's important to ensure that development takes place in the right place and it's the right kind of development. I think that's the role the Conservation Authority has played over the years. Rob, you mentioned, of course, source water protection. And, well, we have water treatment plants that ensure that the water is pure and clean when we have it for consumption. The key to protecting that water comes from way back up at the source along the line. And so source water protection is exceedingly important. We're very honored to have Bill Hodgson with that particular responsibility. Earth Day is just a couple of days away now, and we will see across Niagara. The Mayor Grant is here as well. There's Rob. I just looked up what I need to see new member of the Regional Council, and it is important to ensure that this protection takes place. The Conservation Foundation is important as well. Each one of us in Niagara and in Hamilton and in Haldimand have an opportunity, each has an opportunity to make a financial contribution because what you have to know about funding, well, and I'll put on my parochial hat here, Niagara provides the largest amount of funding. They know it's so to our friends from Haldimand and Hamilton because we also have the largest amount of territory as well within the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. But that's not the only thing that's a funding source. Public contributions have been exceedingly important over the years, and I want to take this opportunity to thank those who have been contributors over the years. I'm sure that those who've been involved know how important that is. And now we're in a position, in my view, to know that when you make a donation to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation, that is resource is going to be used appropriately to protect the environment. But I'll go back just for a moment to Earth Day, and I see staff of NPCA and I see volunteers who will be involved in all kinds of activities over the next few days. A lot of them will center around Saturday because it's a weekend day, but you'll notice that they have been key in ensuring that those protective measures take place. I have a scroll because those of us who are in elected office always are armed with a scroll on occasions of this kind. And this is a relatively economical scroll. I want to point that out. I think the city of St. Catharines has, when I see Bill Phillips, the deputy mayor, but one looks more expensive than this one. We shall see. Let me read it to you because it is very brief. On behalf of the Niagara Regional Council, I wish to congratulate the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority on celebrating 65 years of successful operations in the region. Over the past 65 years, Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority has been an important leader and continues to play a vital role in conserving and restoring natural resources, enhancing biodiversity, and promoting viable development practices. Your work towards sustaining our local green spaces and dedication to clean water continues to have a positive impact on all of our communities, and your commitment to conservation and deep sense of integrity and respect are to be commended. I'd like to join the members of council. I'd like to join with our members of council and thank those impacted. Thank you for those impacted by your service, and wishing you continued success in the years ahead, because so many are impacted by their service, not only of those who are alive today, but people for generations to come. So Rob, I'm going to ask you to come forward to accept this on behalf of the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. And I want to, on this occasion, to thank Rob Foster for the outstanding leadership he has provided to the NPCA since taking office. Rob.
Oh, by the way, there's a whole lot of deputy mayors and stuff like that I didn't introduce either, so. See you after.
Thank you, Chair Bradley. I'd like to welcome Niagara Falls MPP Wayne Gates to the podium to bring greetings from the province.
Thank Thanks very much, and this is something different for me, quite frankly. I was asked to also bring greetings on behalf of Sam Oosterhoff from Niagara West. And I used to do this all the time for Mr. Bradley when he couldn't attend at a function. So I want to say on behalf of Niagara West, Sam Oosterhoff, congratulations on your 65 years celebrating taking care of the environment here in the Niagara region, and maybe give Sam a round of applause for letting me do that. And hopefully, folks not watching on this one here, I hope they cut that part out so they don't play it up in Queen's Park for me. I'm going to start by maybe something a little different before I get in on how I really feel about a couple of things, so I'll do it quickly. I want to thank the volunteers, I want to thank the board, and I really want to thank the staff over the 65 years. They've done an incredible job. I'd like to thank Mel Woodhouse, who I used to coach in Thorold baseball with. Mel, thank you very much for your contribution as well. Let's give the staff, the volunteers, the donors, all those people that make this organization so important to protect the environment in Niagara. Maybe give them a round of applause. They told me to make sure I keep it positive, so I'm going to try. And I think that's fair, quite frankly, because one of the most important things that we have to protect is our environment. I have 3 daughters, I have 5 grandkids, and I firmly believe that if we don't protect our water source and our air quality, we are going to be in problems. And quite frankly, our food source as well. So it really bothered me when I saw a bill come forward when they talked about how important drinking water source and the protection and the testing, and they're actually going to cut out the testing for water. We should have learned from Walkerton on what can happen. So I'm saying to everybody here, call your local MPP. You don't have to call me, I'm going to agree with you. Talk to your MPPs and say we have to continue to do the testing. If we don't test, we're going to have problems with our water source. If we don't have water, none of us are going to be here in the environment. And I'll finish by saying really clearly, I'm going to do everything I can. If the Conservation Authority needs me for anything, please just ask. I believe the most important thing that we can protect is our environment. Not for us in this room, by the way, but for our kids and our grandkids and the future of our planet. So on April 22nd, it's Earth Day. Let's celebrate the Earth, but let's give another commitment that we're going to do everything we can to make sure our kids and our grandkids can enjoy what we've had through our lives with an environment that we have clean drinking water, we have clean air, and we make sure that we have a food source so that we can supply the food that we need to feed people in this province and this country. So thank you very much for allowing me here today. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I do have a little certificate. I know the regional chair talked about how big the one from St. Catharines is, but I'll tell you that I just have a small one. I'm not going to read it out loud. Congratulations and thank you for your contribution. It really says a lot of the same thing that Jim said, but ours is a little smaller. The province doesn't have as much money as the region or the city of St. Catharines, but this came from the bottom of my heart, and I think that's just as important. So thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words today. I appreciate it.
I'd say that was mostly positive, Wayne. Thank you. Next up, bringing greetings on behalf of Niagara Centre, Member of Parliament Vance Badaway, Keegan McNeil.
Well, good morning. Unfortunately, I'm not MP Vance Badaway. He is stuck in Ottawa. It's budget week. I tried to get him down, but not really possible when the budget's coming out. So unfortunately, he couldn't be here. He did wish he could come, but he sent me on his behalf to bring some greetings. So I want to thank everyone who came out today, and I brought 2 certificates on behalf of Vance. So I will quickly read them. Not all of them, though. I'm gonna summarize because they're pretty similar. But We brought a certificate on the 65th anniversary, so presented to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority upon your 65th anniversary, honoring 65 years as the conservation authority within the Niagara Peninsula watershed, held in public trust for recreation, heritage, preservation, conservation, and education. On behalf of the Government of Canada and the citizens of Niagara Centre, congratulations and best wishes for your continued success. And my second one is for the new office location. So continuing as a community-based natural resource management agency that protects, enhances, and sustains healthy watershed, we congratulate you upon the opening of your new office location. And I know Vance is very excited to come back next week and hopefully get a tour of the office when he is able to. So thank you so much, and I want to give these 2 certificates. So thank you, everyone.
No mention on the size or the economics involved in that certificate. We have a few more. Chair Foster, if you could stay on hand here, I'm going to invite a few other people up with some certificates they'd like to present. If you want to take the microphone and read the certificate, that would be great. If you don't want to, we can just ask Chair Foster to accept it. First off, Becky Whitworth, on behalf of Niagara Falls Member of Parliament, Tony Boldenau.
Again, Tony's heading home from Ottawa right now, otherwise he would have been here himself. So I've been sent to present this on this very special occasion. I will read the certificate. This is presented to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority in recognition of their 65th anniversary and office location, April 19th, 2024. As Member of Parliament for the riding of Niagara Falls, it gives me great pleasure to extend my sincere congratulations to Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority on their 65th anniversary and office relocation. Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority has made a real difference in conservation efforts in the Niagara region, and I wish you continued success in the years to come. Tony Baldinelli.
I'd like to invite Thorold Regional Councillor Tim Whalen.
Yes, thanks for asking. And I'd like to recognize Rob and Terry. You know, welcome to our certificate. Sounds good. It's unbelievably hard to follow a crew and said all the words that I want to say, so thank you, Jim. And it was even worse when Peter Cormos was ahead of me, because I never had a word to put in after what he came forward. So, and again, I'd like to thank the NPCA for finding, after 59 years, finding a permanent location in the hub of Thorold. It was fantastic. Thanks for coming home. So Rob, thank you for your service over the last few years. I believe you're here in 59 when it was originally, were you?
No, I was born at 50.
Okay. So his heart was here from the beginning. So, and thank you for what you do. Just a few words. Back, I guess about 6 years ago now, there was a dark side of the NPCA. So I was part of the transition team to bring it back to life. I was only there for a short term, but in that short term, a few months, it's unbelievable. Most people don't know what the NPCA does, and it's fantastic. You're looking after our environment, what we do here in Niagara, halted in heaven. So thank you so much for all you do for us. So. And Terry, I believe you guys scroll. I've got a big frame, but there's not very many words. I think Jim used all the ink at the region. So Terry's got a few words I'm sure he can share with us.
No, I'm not. I've already said my words, but I forgot to give this when I was up, so I'll do it at the same time that regional council.
Between the two
They used to be in the scroll business.
There's nothing to get.
We've got a lot of wall space here.
Yeah, we're
You're getting on the wide there, I guess.
Thank you for that, Tim and Terry. And the moment we've all been waiting for, we can't wait to see this scroll from Bill Phillips. I don't know why we're picking on Bill today, but Bill Phillips, City of St. Catharines, come on up.
Wow. First of all, Mike, thanks for everything you do in the community with Kojiko, with your show, and being a member of the Conservation Board. you do a great job. So I think we should be doing He is everywhere. After following so many politicians saying basically the same thing, I'd like to bring it home a little bit. As deputy mayor, but I'm also a councillor in St. Catharines in a ward called Grantham, which is in the far north end of St. Catharines. And last week, as we do every year, I did a walk with our chair of the Friends of Walker's Creek, Della Trojan, who's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Walker's Creek extends from Scott Street all the way down to Lake Ontario. And as we were walking along, looking into the creek, and Della's telling our staff what she wants done, the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority staff are absolutely wonderful, working with us, planting trees, making sure the water's as clean as it possibly can be. Anytime Della or myself contacts the Conservation Authority, they're always there for us. And to give you an example of what I saw the other day, we were walking along, and in one small area, there was a pair of mallards swimming in the creek. And we walked along a little farther, and there was a couple of turtles on the bank. And then a little farther up, there was a lake trout about like this in a small pond, waiting to go up a very narrow way. Without the Conservation Authority, I don't believe that's going to happen. I really don't. My best friend, Doug Walls, is the chair of the Friends of Malcolmson Park, and he tells me about anytime he contacts the conservation staff, they're always there for him. In my first life as an educator, as a teacher, I taught in the summer when I didn't have any money, and after teaching, I'd get a summer job teaching outdoor education at Balls Falls, and every week we would have 20 young people come, and we would actually stay overnight. We would camp there, and we would go to different conservation authorities, later areas like Wood End, Chippewa Creek, and of course at Balls Falls, and teach those kids what conservation was about. And we always had staff with us, and the staff, they were the educators, and they did such wonderful work with the kids. The kids, after a week, they gained an appreciation of how important the watersheds in the Niagara region are, and hopefully that will last for a long, long time throughout their whole life. So after 65 years, you've done a tremendous job. Thanks to Rob and his staff, his board, the staff of the Conservation Authority, absolutely tremendous. And as development comes in Thorold or any other place, we need the Conservation Authority to protect what is so important to our lives. So thank you very much for inviting us. Mayor Cisco is on vacation. He is traveling to Europe with his family on a well-deserved vacation. I think he applied for a grant from the region but didn't get it. And yes, I don't know if anybody mentioned, but there's a scroll here. And I will read that to you. The City of St. Catharines Mayor and Council proudly present the certificate to express our sincere congratulations to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority on commemorating 65 years of devoted service on the grand opening of your new administrative office. The authority's commitment to offering programs and services that focus on flood and hazard management, source water protection, species protection, ecosystem restoration, community stewardship, and land management is commendable. Your efforts have played a crucial role in preserving life, the natural beauty, and resources of the Niagara Peninsula. Thank you for your continued dedication and hard work. A corporation of the City of St. Catharines, signed by Mayor Matt Cisco on this day, April 19th, 2024. Thank you very much.
Based on scroll size, Thorold wins.
But I must point out that St. Catharines is the only one that's landscape orientation, which fits better for a Conservation Authority. Landscape. There you go, Bill. Throwing you a bone. Shelley Ann Bentley, the Mayor of Haldimand County, will come to the front, please.
Well, thank you and welcome to your new building. It is gorgeous here. So on behalf of myself and members of our council from Haldimand County, we would like to congratulate you on 65 years of conservation efforts in the Niagara Peninsula watershed, and we really appreciate you. All the hard work that everybody does and the ever-changing rules that are downloaded on the province, and you guys are keeping top of that and making sure that our conservation and watersheds are protected. So thank you for all your work. Thank you.
They're frugal. They're very frugal. Very frugal on that one.
Planned expenditures.
Well, Shelley Ann, I might say that because you presented it that way, they get to choose the frame rather than having the frame thrust upon them. That's a good way to look at it. Just a note, we're going to ask Rob to pose with all of those on display later on and just see if he can actually do it. But really, just a note, for those of you that missed the first tour, after the ribbon cutting, we will be running another tour of the entire facility for you to take a look at the rest of the NPCA space. I'd like to welcome Chandra Sharma, the CAO and Secretary Treasurer of the NPCA, now for closing remarks.
Good morning, everyone. My closing remarks are going to be a little long. I'm going to introduce our video, the important work of our staff. So I wanted to start by welcoming our distinguished guests, partners, members of the community, and staff. To the people watching us online, we apologize that we couldn't accommodate you here because of space restrictions, but I'm hoping you're watching us, you're pleased with our progress, and you can come back and visit our new facility. So thank you. This major milestone of 65th anniversary is a time to reflect on the outstanding achievements and the role our Conservation Authority has played since its inception in 1959 under the leadership of founding chairman Francis Goldring and other visionary leaders who worked with him during those early days of the Conservation Authority establishment. Looking back on the 25th and the 50th anniversary of NPCA, we were recognized by all levels of government for the work we had done, from the construction of Binbrook Dam and seven flood control weirs and dams, Davidson Weir, Stevensville Bypass flood channel, flood control measures on Shriners Creek, to finding solution to our irrigation problems here in Niagara. Virgil Dam is a good example of that. To the preservation of wetlands, bogs, marshes, such as Wainfield, Willoughby, and Humberstone. To land securement. Recently, during the pandemic, we saw how important that land was for our community's well-being and what a lifeline it presented. Three common factors that led to those success are still very, very relevant today. Long-term vision and creativity of our staff to think outside the box. Unwavering support of our partners, municipal partners, all level of governments, and our community, and our ENGO partners. And the Conservation Authority exercising good environmental stewardship on the ground. NPCA has come a long way, and it's poised to carry forward the important work of our founding members. NPCA of today is made up of high-performing team of professionals focused on client service. NPCA today is innovative and progressive, rooted in science and impeccable operational discipline. NPCA today is focused on the mandate of hazard management and preparing to deal with emerging challenges such as climate change. NPCA today is demonstrating good sustainability practices on the ground and our own lands. We can look back on the NPCA's human resources, financial, policy, and program performance with pride against the backdrop of many challenges recently that were faced by this organization. Our ability to pivot, agility, and commitment to stay focused on strategic priorities helped us reach new heights. The strong performance rests on 4 pillars. Our culture, our organization culture that focuses on the spirit of entrepreneurship and strong collaboration. Ownership of our strategic goals by staff who developed it and developed by the board. Our operational and financial discipline that we have followed in the last several years. Care and respect for our clients, our partners, our communities we serve, and the land we own. In closing, I thank our board of directors and our committees who have worked hand in hand with NPCA staff to get us to this point. I'm especially thankful to Chair Foster and Vice Chair Metcalf for the support I have personally gotten over the past 2 years under their leadership. And prior to that, former Chair Brenda Johnson, Vice Chair Bruce McKenzie, and even before that, Chair Bill Sma and Vice Chair Diana Hewson. I should also thank our former chair of the foundation who was supposed to be here, Regional Councillor Tom Insina. Under their leadership and current chair of the foundation, Diana Hewson, under their leadership, staff had done an outstanding job in rebuilding the organization. Finally, I congratulate the exceptional team of NPCA staff on this major milestone. I can't introduce all of them to you, but each and every one, no matter what they do on the ground in getting us to this building, have done a tremendous job. It's all hands on deck, and they have worked beyond the call of duty to get us to this point. I can assure you that the organization is ready to take the important work forward into the next decade. I'm really proud to present our 2023 Year in Review video. Thank you.
That concludes this program. We will have some photo opportunities, cake cutting and a ribbon cutting, and some other photo opportunities. And then the tour for those of you that didn't get to see the building earlier this morning. We thank you for attending, and thank you. Thank you all.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority 65th Annual General Meeting, going on this April the 19th, 2024, in the brand new Carolinian Hall here in our new headquarters in Thorold. So welcome everybody this morning. Call to order, so we'll do the roll call.
Good morning. Chair Foster,
I'm here.
Donna Cridlin, Diana Hewson, John Metcalf,
Yes.
Present.
Mike,
Oh, yeah.
Member Taddison,
Present.
Member Grant, Member Beatty, Member Clark.
Good morning.
Member Clark is online. Member Taddison was going to be online. Is he online? Okay, good.
Present.
Member Seaborn? Present. Member O'Neill? Did I miss anyone? Good, thank you.
I know. Thanks, everybody. So everyone's here this morning. That's great. I will read the land acknowledgement. The Niagara Peninsula watershed is situated within the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Attawandaronk, and Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, many of whom continue to work and live here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Dish Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, the watershed is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. Through the 2021-2031 Strat Plan, we reconfirm our commitment to shared stewardship of natural resources and deep appreciation of Indigenous culture and history in the watershed. Before I ask for approval of the agenda, there's a request that item 12.1, which is a report, be moved up to after 9.1, which is the discussion in and around the audit. So with that, and with that amendment, can I get Member Metcalf to move? And Member Seaborn, would you second, please? Yes. Okay, I see the two guys online too, so all in favor? And that is carried. Declarations of conflict of interest. Any declarations this morning? Seeing none. So we got to conclude our 2023 business, and I would suggest to you that our preceding event that we had was a very nice tie-in to what it is that we've done over the last 2 years. I would say we have made tremendous strides within our strategic plan. We have had the ability to go and come into this beautiful new facility that I know the NPCA is going to take huge advantage of over the next few years. I also want to point out that this is the 65th anniversary of the NPCA and our 65th AGM. I was born in 1959, so I wasn't around when the declaration was made, or at least I was very, very early in the game when that happened. But I will say that we're very fortunate that the NPCA came into existence. I think the work that has been done by this organization is second to none. I think with all of the curveballs thrown at us over the last 2 years, last 3 years, when it comes to development, I think our organization has been extremely resilient, and I have been very proud to be the chair of this organization. I will say it is one of my life highlights that has gone on. So I thank the board for your support for me within the role, and I look forward to supporting our next chair and vice chair that come into play. And last but not least, I do have to thank Vice Chair Metcalf. He and I have been loosely joined at the hips, I guess we would say, over the course of the last 2 years, and I very much appreciate the guidance and advice that he has provided to me within this role as well. So with that, we do have to have a motion. Member Grant, would you please move, and Member Hewson, please second, that the Board of Directors conclude the business of 2023, and further that the chair and vice chair seats be declared vacant. Any questions to the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the CAO, and thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Foster, for your service to the organization and your ongoing support. I hope you will continue to do what you've been doing, and staff will appreciate that. I would now like to ask our clerk to do another roll call for the purpose of recording.
We have Member Foster. Member Beatty. Member Clark. Member Cridland. Grant, sorry. Member Hewson. Member F. Member O'Neill. Member Seaborn. And Member Tatis.
Present.
I think board members are well aware of the procedures, but I will just highlight a few of them. Nominations for the chair and vice chair positions will be called 3 times and will only require a mover, no seconder required to nominate. The closing of the nomination will require both mover and a seconder. Each board member nominated will be asked if they will accept the nomination. The board member must be present to accept the nomination, including online. In the event of an election, each nominee will be permitted not more than 3 minutes to speak for the office in order of alphabetical listing of his or her name. There are a lot of other details which are not required, I believe. So with that, I will start the process. First, I would like to appoint scrutineers in case we have a vote. And there is a motion in front of you. So first, can I get a mover and seconder to appoint Lise Gagnon and Melanie Davis as scrutineers should an election be required? Moved by Member Hewson, seconded by Member Grant. Thank you. All in favor? Okay. I will now call for the nomination of board chair. At this point, I would like to call for the nomination for NPCA board chair for the first time. We will only need a mover for this purpose.
I would like to move John Metcalf. It's Rob Foster.
Member Metcalf, would you accept the nomination? Yes. Thank you. I would like to call for second call for nomination of chair. None. Third call for nomination of chair. None. With that, we would like to proceed for on the motion. Congratulations, Member Metcalf. The motion is that Member Metcalf, Member John Metcalf, be appointed as the chair of Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority Board of Directors for 2024. Can I get a mover? There's a lot of movers on that. Wow, you have a lot of support here. Who was moving it? Member O'Neill, seconder. Member Beatty. Thank you. All in favor? I will now go to the vice chair position for the authority. Same process as earlier. I will call for nomination for the vice chair position of the authority. Member Tadison.
I'd like to nominate Member Beatty.
Thank you. Any other nominations, please? Any other nominations, please? Being there none, Member Beatty, would you accept the nomination? Yes. Thank you. I have a motion here, congratulations, that Member Stuart Beatty be appointed as the Vice Chair of Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority Board of Directors for 2024. Can I get a mover? Member Cridland, seconder. Member Grant, thank you. Congratulations, Member Beatty. At this point, I'll ask the Chair, Vice Chair, if they have anything to contribute. Otherwise, I'll proceed to the next step. Okay. Thank you. Melanie, was there something you were asking me to do? Well, now that we have the chair and vice chair in place, my job is done. So at this point, I'll hand over the board meeting to our new chair, Member Metcalf, to go through the rest of the agenda items. Thank you.
Okay, so we're back here now, and thank you, Past Chair Foster, for handing the reins over, and big shoes to fill, that's for sure. So we're going, excuse me, right now to item 5.2.3, appointment to Conservation Ontario 2024. So I'll just give you a little background here. Conservation Ontario represents the association of 36 conservation authorities in Ontario. It is the practice of the NPCA to request the chair and his or her designate and the chief administrator officer to represent NPCA on Conservation Ontario's committees and council. So I guess we don't need a motion, or do we need a motion? Just
We need to move and second and approve this motion.
so we need a mover and a seconder to approve that. So Member Grant, seconded by Member O'Neill. Thank you. All in favor? And that's carried unanimous. Thank you. 5.2.4, appointment to Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation. The motion that the following board members be appointed to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation for 2024. Any volunteers? Member Hewson?
I'd like to put my name forward, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I'd also like to put my name forward for this appointment.
Member Taddison? Okay. Any more?
I'd like to put my name forward.
Thank you.
Can I just add, this is a very fun group and you won't regret joining.
So we have the motion here that Member Cridland, Member Taddison, and Member Hewson be appointed to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Against, carried unanimously. Thank you. On to agenda item 5.2.5, appointment to the Finance Committee. Motion that the following board member be appointed to the Finance Committee for 2024. So we're looking for 3. So we have Member Grant, Member Foster, Member O'Neill, and Member Hewson. So the following motion, so that the board members be appointed to the Finance Committee, Member Hewson, Member O'Neill, Member Grant, and Member Foster. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. So item 5.2.6, appointment to Governance Committee. The motion that the following board member be appointed to the Governance Committee for 2024. Member Seaborn, Member Cridland, Member Foster. Anyone from the big screen ahead there? Seeing no more nominees.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Member Taddison.
Was there a limit of 3?
I just see 3 blanks on my sheet, but apparently there is no limit. So,
Okay, thank you.
would you like to join?
I think I'd like to join the Finance Committee. Sorry.
So who do we have?
Chair, can I just ask a question? If a member wants to join the committee after this meeting, they're free to add themselves, correct? Okay, thank you.
Okay,
That's
so the
fine then.
all right, thanks, Mark. So the motion that as read right now, the following board members be appointed to the Governance Committee for 2024. Member Foster, Member Cridland, and Member Seaborn. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. So 5.2.7, signing officers motion that the authority's chair, which is myself, vice chair, the chief administrative officer, secretary treasurer Shonda Sharma, and director of corporate services Lise Canyon, or any 2 of them are hereby authorized to sign, make, draw, accept, endorse, deliver checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for payment of money, and such agreements and instruments as may be necessary or useful in connection with the operation of the said account. And further, that any one of the above-mentioned officers is hereby authorized for and in the name of the organization to endorse and transfer to the bank for deposit or discount with or collection by the bank, but for credit of the organization only, checks, promissory notes, bills of exchange, orders for payment of money, and other instruments to be exchanged, settle balance, and certify all books and accounts with the bank, and to sign receipts for vouchers. And I also should mention Vice Chair Beatty as well on that. So I'm just looking for a approval. A mover for that motion. Mover by Member Cridland, second by Member Foster. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. So now we'll move into approval of the minutes. 6.1, minutes of the full board authority meeting dated March 22nd, 2024. And minutes of the full authority meeting closed session dated February 16th, 2024, distributed separately. And we need a mover for that. Member Seaborn, seconded by Member Beatty, or Vice Chair Beatty. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Thank you. 8, correspondence. Correspondence from the Regional Municipality of Niagara dated March 22nd, 2024 regarding development applications, monitoring report, 2023 year end. Mover? Member Grant, seconded by Member O'Neill. Let me just have to accept that, right? Just receive it for information. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Are we going to least with this one right now?
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, we're just moving this one.
Yeah, we'll do a presentation.
Yeah.
To the seat first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got my agenda here. Where are we here now? Okay. So I'm going to do this one here. Okay. I'm all mixed up here. All right. Thank you for your indulgence here for a moment. So we have a presentation. Audit financial statement and audit findings report presented by David Marks, partner audit of KPMG. We are joined today, or you want me to, or at least to do this, the introduction? At least you want to do the introduction? Thank you.
Yes, good morning. I'd like to present to you Mr. David Marks, who is with the KPMG audit firm, and he is our managing partner, and he'll be presenting the financial statements and the audit findings report for the board.
Great. Thank you very much for having me today. If we could maybe go to the audit findings report first. Great. Thank you. Wanted to let you know that we have had our discussions.
I know it's the first event, so just well. And sorry, it's the first meeting?
Yep, sure. All right. Thank you for having me. Just wanted to present to you, the Board of Directors, the audit findings. I will say that we have had our conversation with the Audit Committee, which was earlier in the month on April the 4th. So we have gone through this full deck in detail with the Audit Committee. At this point in time, if we could scroll down to page 6, I believe, of the report. Yes, so the status, so at this point in time, we are in the position to issue our unqualified audit opinion or clean audit opinion on the organization. The final hurdle that we need to achieve is the approval by the Board of Directors, and we would expect that to happen later on today in this meeting. So all other procedures and activities have happened as we need to. We just need the final approval from the Board of Directors. Okay. I will say that we've had full cooperation of management as we conducted our audit. Pleased to say that you know, the audit went very smoothly. No findings that necessarily need to be brought to the attention to this meeting. We have had our appropriate conversations with the Finance Committee before. Okay. From here, if we could flip to the financial statements now, it would be great. We'll scroll down a little bit to the audit opinion. To right there is perfect. So this is our audit opinion. As I mentioned before, we are in a position to issue our unqualified or clean audit opinion. That means that the financial statements of the organization are fairly presented in accordance with the accounting framework and represent the full transactions that the organization has. As we scroll down a little bit further into the opinion, there is management's responsibility for the financial statements. Those charged with governance, you are responsible for the financial statements. And then later on in the back half of the opinion, lays out the auditor's responsibility, our responsibility for evaluating the financial statements, reviewing the transaction, and making sure that it is in compliance with the accounting standards. Okay. As we move through to the balance sheet, which will be another page down. So this is the statement of financial position, or the balance sheet. This contains all the assets, liabilities of the organization. The organization is in strong financial health. You can see that the assets outweigh the liabilities on those first two lines. So they're in a net financial asset position of $5.2 million there. Some changes, obviously, that occurred during the course of the normal year, but nothing too unusual that has happened in terms of the balance sheet or the statement of financial position. I will highlight that the tangible capital assets have increased by about $1 million. That is some additions that have occurred during the course of the year, reduced by amortization that is taken on those assets. Okay. As we move over to the statement of income and operations into accumulated surplus. So this statement contains the revenues and expenses of the organization. The middle column is the 2023 results for the year. It does compare to the budget as well as the previous year. So you can see that the revenues have increased from the previous year and over budget. There were some revenues received for capital. That is the majority of the increase that has occurred there. Okay. As you scroll down to expenses, you can see that expenses came in under budget at $13.2 million, slightly more than the previous year, but less than by budget by about $1 million. In the end, there is an accumulated surplus for the year of $2.8 million. As we scroll down to the statement of cash flow, next one, please. This is shows all the cash inflows and outflows of the organization. So what you can see is starting with the accumulated surplus of $2.8 million, which again, that's from some of the revenue that has been captured for capital. Some of that revenue hasn't been spent, so you haven't seen that necessarily transfer into. You'll see that still held within the accumulated surplus of the organization. You can see in the middle of the page that there have been purchases of capital assets of about $2.4 million. That does end up going into invested in capital assets in the accumulated surplus. Okay. And then you can see some interactions and investing activities, some changes in investments that have happened. But by the end of the year, cash has increased by $1.8 million and is now sitting at $3.3 million. Okay. I think the last thing that I would just say on, I think it's on note 5, which is the accumulated surplus. If we could just scroll down to there. Some of the unspent money on capital does make its way into the reserve, so you can see that there has been an increase in the general capital reserve during the course of the year. Okay. The rest of the notes have been updated accordingly. There was a new accounting standard that the organization did apply. Didn't have an impact on the financial statements, but it was contemplated and disclosed within the financial statements. So with that, maybe I will pause there to see if there's any questions on our audit or the financial statements.
Member Houston?
Thank you, Chair. I can't resist asking financial questions, so thank you for tolerating all my questions in the committee and also here. Can you just remind me, in terms of the revenues, I think there was a category other, what that includes?
Maybe I'll pass that over to you.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. So the other revenues consist of a Conservation Ontario land securement, $500,000, miscellaneous revenues, which are classified largely as, or not classified, they are in support of capital projects, so that was $676,000. Grants for seasonal staff, 25 grand. Donations, landowner contributions, that type of thing, 29,000, so not terribly material. And a small gain on disposal of assets. So that gives you the $1.3 million. The largest piece of that is both land securement and capital. Oh.
We're going to get there. Sorry, can you repeat that $600,000 number?
Certainly, so that's $676,630, and the largest majority of that is the CCRF federal grant money for the conservation area improvements.
Thank you. So if you were to, and I was going to ask you, you know that I'm going to ask this question. So if we were to give a snapshot, very high level, what is the 2.8 million surplus? What is the bulk of what contributes to that? Can you please tell me what that is?
Certainly. So through you, Chair. So the $2.8 million surplus is sitting, you see it in the statement of operations. So what is somewhat confusing is that in order to adhere to accounting protocols, all the revenues recognized during the year, including the land securement and the capital dollars, all have to be recorded in the year in which they were received and earned. So, but the statement of operations only returns expenses for operating expenses, not capital and not land securement. They are carried in a separate portion of the audited financial statements, and Mr. Marks can certainly report that. So what you're looking at a bit of a disconnect in that you have the revenues on one side and no offsetting expenses. So if breaking that down further, so of the $2.8 million surplus, you have 1.4 million of it represents capital. The land securement side of it, which is the 500,000 from the feds through Conservation Ontario, as well as the 250,000 from Niagara region in the 2023 budgets, and 13,252 from Haldimand. So that gives you a value of 763,252 for land securement, and the residual. Oh.
So we moved into a nice neighborhood.
And the residual is the operating surplus, which is 596,000. So that operating surplus further, well, in terms of rationale, the board is aware that we were facing recruitment and retention challenges, so we had a gapping of vacant positions, which represents 457,000 of that, and the residual is professional fees for projects that weren't able to take place due to staffing shortages. So the board has approved, or the finance committee has approved, moving those dollars into the operating reserve in order to support the compensation review project.
Thank you through that. So through the chair, would it be correct to say that we've been able to leverage some significant federal funding? It sounds like that we plan on spending in the next budget cycle.
Yes, that's exactly right. We were able to leverage significant, in particular, capital funding dollars, as well as land securement. So it's been a good news story this year.
I agree. Thank you very much.
Are there any more questions? Thank you, David. If that's the end of your presentation, that's excellent. Thank you very much. So the proposed motion, the presentation regarding the 2023 audited financial statement and audit findings report be received. Have a mover. Member Hewson, second by Member Seaborn. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. So item 12.1 is our amendment to the agenda. So report number FA 2023-16-24 regarding the 2023 audited financial statement and audit findings report. Following the receipt of the presentation, Lee Scagnon, Director of Corporate Services. Oh, okay, so we've done that. Thank you. All right, wonderful. Thank you, Chandra. So the proposed motion that report FA 16-24 regarding the 2023 audited financial statement be received, and that the 2023 audited financial statement and the 2023 audited findings report attached hereto in appendices 1 and 2 respectively be approved. Moved by moved by Member Foster, second by Member Cridland. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried unanimously. So we have item 9.2, going back to the agenda, NPCA Employee Service Recognition 2023. And I'll call on Misty Ferrucci. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So my name is Misty Ferrucci. I'm the Manager of People and Performance here, and we wanted to take an opportunity to recognize some of our staff. If we had the ability to, we would recognize everybody today. We have a very skilled and talented staff, and I wanted to mention one of the things as I sit through interviews in my capacity in HR that I'm asked, what is it like to work at the NPCA? What are some of the best things about working here? And each and every time, it's the staff. The staff here is so committed to what they do and passionate about being here. This isn't just a job. It is something that these people will come to do and really want to strive to improve the mandate of the NPCA. Today, we're going to take an opportunity to recognize milestone service anniversaries of some of our staff from the 2023 year. So what I will do is I'll indicate the staff person that we'll be recognizing. I will ask that individual and their manager to please come forward and celebrate these milestones. So first, celebrating 5 years of service, we'd like to recognize Eric Gervais.
Thank you, Misty. So, Eric. First of all, Eric is instrumental, along with Steve Miller, for all of what you see here in terms of this facility. So he deserves a medal. They both do. So during Eric's 5 years with the NPCA, he has formalized a very informal procurement process and has implemented procedures to ensure the fairness, impartiality, public transparency of all projects tendered with the NPCA. He's issued over 150 requests for proposals, and much as that sounds like it's not a whole lot, I recognize the amount of work that goes into each one of those. Issued 350 purchase orders, does his enthusiastic best to support the NPCA, with jobs ranging from buying a few folding chairs for the new office to obtaining heavy construction equipment for the folks at Central, and emptying, garbage cans and changing toilet paper rolls. And Eric is fond of playing cards. He even wins on the rare occasion. And considering he's parenting 2 kids who are in university, he should be winning more often, I'm thinking. Exactly. He is the holder of the keys, the manager of the vehicle fleet, and lover of the Montreal Canadiens. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Thank you.
And I'll just note as well, we've also recognized staff at our end of the year function amongst their peers as well and provided all with an appreciation gift as well. Next, we'd like to recognize for 5 years of service, Brian Lee.
So can I call you Bunk?
Absolutely.
So Brian arrived at the NPCA just over 5 years ago. About the same time I did, I would think, shortly after, or shortly before, yeah.
His energy, enthusiasm, and passion for GIS was palatable from the first day. He takes his GIS administrator position very seriously and literally bounces when talking about spatial data. Is that true?
Partially.
When given the opportunity, Brian will inform anyone and everyone how GIS allows for better business decisions, leads to more effective collaboration, and enhances business workflows. Brian's passion for geospatial data is only rivaled by his passion for golf. I would suspect you'd rather be on a golf course than standing here right now, however.
That's how I'm dressed.
Yes, Brian is not knees deep in data. He can be found on the golf course. Brian's love of the game is worked into almost every conversation, if possible. You still have in your Unit 11,
We're going to install the putting green at
Yeah.
the nice open space we have. So, yes.
So Brian, thank you for your hard work and dedication over the past 5 years. You are an invaluable NPCA team member. Whatever comes next, your next hole-in-one or your next 10-year anniversary, we'll be there to cheer you on and celebrate with you.
Thank you. We have another 5-year recipient, Thomas Prox.
All right, so Tom joined the NPCA just over 5 years ago as well, December 2018. Tom is our source water protection and hydrogeology specialist. And Tom came in at a rough time, right on the tail end of some dark days, but didn't have a lot of support in terms of onboarding him, and he was kind of left to fend for himself. But over the past 5 years, Tom has been instrumental in administering and running the source protection program at the NPCA. A lot of remarks were made this morning about the importance of source protection, and certainly that is the case. And this is the guy who you can look to and thank for the NPCA's program running so well. As my role as Tom's supervisor, I came in just 2 years ago, or just under 2 years ago, to oversee the program. And Tom has been a huge help in getting me up to speed on how the program works and how it runs. And I would not be able to function at all in terms of managing that program without Tom. So appreciate all Tom's hard work on that. Tom's a Brock grad. He has a postgraduate certificate. Yep. Postgraduate certificate from Niagara College in environmental management and assessment. He's also a professional geoscientist since 2018, which is a significant achievement, any of these professional accreditations. And Tom is also a very proud father of 2 wonderful children, Claire, who is 5, and Evan, who is 2. 3, sorry. And again, thank you, Tom, for all your years of help, and looking forward to working with you continually on this.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, celebrating 25 years of service, though he tells me the number should be a little bit higher. I might have missed some casual or contract work back there. Rob Schultz.
Thanks, Misty. As Misty had mentioned, Rob has been with the NPCA for at least 25 years, if not more. Rob is currently our manager of land care out of Central Workshop. He oversees all of our passive conservation areas and the land care of our entire 41 conservation areas. Rob has mostly been out of Central his whole career here, but has just a wealth of knowledge of all of our properties. Rob has always been known as Mr. MacGyver for his ability to MacGyver any issues, problems, or breakdowns of a variety of infrastructure and equipment. He's also very well known for his impressive woodworking skills, and has proven this by completing projects like repairing the log cabin at Balls Falls and the display cases that are currently in the Balls Falls CFC. On a personal level, Rob has been a mentor to not only me, but to all of our staff daily. His knowledge of our parks is invaluable, and we're lucky to have Rob as a staff member for as long as he is willing. Like 5 years? So what are you thinking? 5 months, maybe. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of our service recipients for this year, and we look forward to doing this again 5 years from now with all of you.
Thank you, Misty, and to all the corresponding managers as well, and to the recipients. That's a great job, and hopefully they will be around for the next 5 years. And moving on. We have no delegations. We have no consent items. Item 12, discussion items. So the first one's been dealt with the financial statement. The second, 12.2, report number FA-17-24, budget and municipal levies. Mover to get this on the floor. Member Beatty, second. Member Foster. Any questions? Lise can answer some questions on that, or a comment if you have any. It's all good? Okay. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, I messed up here. Oh, here I am. So the motion that the report FA 17-2024 operating capital budgets final be approved, and that in accordance with the board approved reserve policy, the amount of $1,848,946 be allocated from the reserves to fund ongoing initiatives carried over from 2023 as per detailed in the provided report. And further, that the 2024 unfunded budget priorities listed attached as Appendix 1 be adopted, and staff be authorized to update the list and address critical pressures as funding becomes available through external funding sources and or within the approved budget. I have a mover. Moved by Member Grant, second. Member Cridland. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? That is carried unanimously. And we have report, or item number 12.3, report FA 22-24, financial report, first quarter. Mover and seconder to get that on the floor. Moved by Member Foster, second by Member Vice Chair Beatty. Any questions? Lisa's here to answer. Member Hewson.
I'm just going to ask if the director could give us a little snapshot.
Certainly, through you, Chair Metcalf. So this represents the operating results from the first quarter of 2024, so it's early in the fiscal year yet. So the first appendix represents the operating position. So essentially, when you look through I'll just highlight some of the more significant variances for you. So when you look at, and early in the year, most of the variances are related to timing, so that we don't quite get the budget in the appropriate month or calendar month, so we call that calendarization. So that is certainly the case with other revenues, which is the largest of the variances there. Another thing I'll highlight is that with some of our fully funded activity, the feds and the province are notorious for either giving us the money later in the year and we float it, or we get it all at once, and so that causes some timings and fluctuation. The only thing that I will highlight in terms of the expenditure side is we are still grappling with some delays in filling vacant positions due to recruitment and retention challenges, but there is a light at the end of that tunnel for the 2024 fiscal year. So we're not expecting that to be problematic through the balance of the year. And a majority of the rest of it is fluctuations in timing as well. So that is from an operating standpoint, to give you some highlights on the capital side. So that's Appendix 2, page 93 of your agenda package. No, that's fine. I don't think so, unless there are specific questions, but thank you, Gina. So what you'll see here is that the total approved capital envelope for 2024, bottom line is $2,000,003. We carried forward $1.6 million worth of projects that were not complete at the end of 2023. So we are looking at a total capital disbursement expected for 2024 of $4,106,000, and we have spent a total project spend at the end of the first quarter of $1,576,000. So we're looking at a 38.3% completion rate, which is roughly where I would expect it to come in. Typically, capital projects are more intensive through the construction season, so certainly not in January, February, March. So those are my high-level comments. Happy to answer any specific questions.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Member Houston. Thanks, Lise. So I've already got to move her a second to get it.
Yes,
Just have to
just
vote.
all in
Yep.
favor?
So all in favor? No. Opposed, if any? That's carried unanimously. To find out where I am here. Okay, so we have another motion that report FA 2224. Well, let's hang on. Nope, we're going to 12.4.
12.4?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I just got out of line here a little bit. Report number FA 21-24 regarding completion of land acquisitions. So I'll read the proposed motion here. That report FA 21-24, completed acquisitions in Niagara Region and Haldimand County be received. And further, that report FA 21-24 be circulated to the City of Niagara Falls, Haldimand County, Regional Municipality of Niagara, Town of Grimsby, and Town of Lincoln. I have a mover and seconder to get that on the floor. Moved by Member Cridlin, second by Member Grant. Discussion? Member Houston?
I promise I won't speak to every item, but this one I'm really excited about because we already had the conversation around leveraging federal dollars to be able to make some of these purchases. And I'm just, with all the pressures, this is commentary, with all the pressures we're seeing in terms of urban sprawl and loss of some of our natural heritage or even loss of farmland, purchases like this and expanding our conservation area, I'd call that natural sprawl. And I'm really excited to see that this organization is really making some progress and headway with the support of upper levels of government in terms of finally making headway in this space. And I'm also, just for my board members who are on councils and have to make decisions on budgets, this is where those special levies in terms of land acquisition dollars are really important, because without that base funding, we're not able to tap into the larger amounts to actually make these things happen. So congratulations. I think our team's rocking it in this area, and please bring it on. I want to see more. This is great.
Thank you, Member Houston, and I guess Member Foster.
Oh, there we go. Just to add on to Councillor Houston's comments, I think we also have to acknowledge the fact that staff have done a terrific job going after the funds that are out there as well. Getting some of the monies coming back through Conservation Ontario from the federal government from a variety of these things. So you've done well taking the amount that we've given and expanding it dramatically. So well done, staff.
Thank you. My sentiments exactly. It's with great pleasure that I'm able to announce this as well, that we are, acquiring natural sprawl. And also I think the last time I chaired a meeting that I had good news about acquisition of lands as well. So I don't know if this is an ongoing thing, but hopefully moving forward we'll keep finding the money. So, okay, so all in favor? That is carried unanimously. So we have item 12.5, report FA 19-24, Lions Creek East Sediment Management Options, RFP Contract Award. So the proposal is that report FA 1924, Contract Award Lions Creek Sediment Management Options, project be received, and that a contract award to Geosyntech Consultants, Inc. in the amount of $251,898 plus non-recoverable HST be approved, and the contingency of 10% or $25,190 be allocated to address any unanticipated costs during the project implementation process, and that further staff be authorized to execute all necessary documents to award the contract. Have a mover and seconder to get that on the floor. Moved by Member Cridlin, second by Member Taddison. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. So moving on, report item 12.6, report FA 18-24, delegation of authority, section 29 of the Conservation Authorities Act. I read the motion that the report FA 18-24, delegation of authority, section 29 of the Conservation Authorities Act be received, and the board delegate authority under section 28.4 of the Conservation Authorities Act to the CAO, Secretary Treasurer, Director, Conservation Areas, Director Planning and Development Manager, Land Planning and Manager, Conservation Area Programs and Services as signatories on section 29 permits beginning April 20th, 2024 for the terms of their employment with the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. Have a mover and seconder to get that on the floor. Member Grant, second. Member Beatty. Any discussion? All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And we'll move on to committee reports in section 13. 13.1, Finance Committee minutes dated April 3rd, 2024. Report number FC0224, Finance Report Q4 2023. The proposed motion that report FA 17-2024 regarding operating and capital budget final be approved, and that in accordance with the board approved reserves policy, the amount of, oh, hang on, where'd I go here? Down to 6. Oh, Finance Committee meeting. Oh, okay, so it went from there to here. Okay, so the Finance Committee meeting minutes held April 3rd are provided to the board for approval, along with the 2023 Q4 financial report for the board's information. That the Finance Committee minutes of April 3rd be approved. So I need a mover and seconder to get that one on the floor. Mover, Member Cridlin, second by Member O'Neill. All in favor? And it's carried unanimously. Motions none. Notices of motions. Do any members have a notice of motion they'd like to bring forward at this time? Seeing none. New business. Verbal update, Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation. So if we could get Board Member Hewson, or Chair.
Thank you, Chair. So the NPCF has engaged in an Earth Day micro-campaign in addition to a scrap metal donation day at Bell Media radio stations in St. Catharines on Monday, April 22nd. and will be involved in the Earth Day celebrations in Font Hill. The Pelham Advocates for Tree and Habitat Earth Day rallies on April 20th. I will be there. If anyone wants to join me, please come. It also includes Adam Schultz and a local youth group and environmental superstars, the Green Herons. We also have an online fundraising channel for businesses that want to give their customers an avenue for action, which we've promoted on our social media and through other media channels. The NPCF Education Bursary is active again. It's within 2 weeks of opening for online applications, and we've already received 11 submissions. So the final day to apply is May 31st. Please promote that within your communities so we have some applicants. The plan is to award $5,000 for the bursary. This week, we were also selected as one of 4 recipients for the first ever Gottler Family Foundation. We are One World Innovation Grant, so we're happy to add that to the portfolio this year. And as the foundation takes on a more prominent role, I just want to remind our board members it's important to show support for the organization and help us kind of spread the word in terms of trying to attract donors. We are a bit behind when compared to our colleagues at other conservation foundations, but I think that we're certainly building momentum and making progress, and we know that a healthy and successful foundation can help empower our conservation authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Foundation Chair Houston. Yes, it's always great that, donations and things coming in, so that's wonderful. At this time, we'll need to move into closed session. Oh, I'm sorry, Member Cridlin.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, just before we end new business, I just wanted to make a comment also that we're ending National Volunteer Week this week. So again, just another big thank you. I think it's probably been said in some of our remarks earlier for our opening, but at the AGM, I just wanted to make another acknowledgement to all the volunteers we have throughout the watershed and thank them again today.
Absolutely, thank you. So we'll move into closed session at 11:40. So we need a mover to go in, or a mover to go into closed. Member Houston, seconder. Member O'Neill. We need a quick vote on moving into closed. So all in favor of moving into closed? That's carried.